Hello, Abney Eagles. This is Mrs. Hurst. I'm going to do something a little bit different this week with your ELA for digital learning, and I hope you guys enjoy it. We're actually going to be reading a little story called Lulu and the Brontosaurus. And this was written by Judith Vorst, and it was illustrated by Lane Smith. So Mrs. Donato and I are going to be reading to you. I'm going to read the first 2 days, and then Mrs. Donato is going to read the next 2 days. So we're just going to read a few chapters every day. And what you'll do is you'll watch the video and listen to the story carefully. And then you'll go in for Canvas, and you'll be able to answer about 6 questions. And they're not too tough. So we hope you guys enjoy this. I want you to think about, while we're reading, I want you to think about what type of text this is. So, we've talked about 3 different types. Yes, 3 different types. We talked about informational text, something that teaches you something. And we've talked about fiction text or literary text. And that's just basically a story. And then we've also talked about persuasive text, or opinion text. So we're going to think about that and see what type of text this actually is. So I hope you enjoy. Here we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, all right. You don't have to tell me, I know. I know that people and dinosaurs have never lived on Earth at the same time. And I know that dinosaurs aren't living now. I even also know that paleontologists, folks that study dinosaurs, decided that a dinosaur was once called a Brontosaurus. A very nice name. Shouldn't be called Brontosaurus anymore. And they changed it to Apatosaurus. A kind of ugly name. But since I'm the person writing this story, I get to choose what I write. And I'm writing about a girl and a Brontosaurus. So if you don't want to read this book, you can close it right up now. You won't hurt my feelings. And if you still want to read it, well, here goes. Chapter 1. There once was a girl named Lulu, and she was a pain. She wasn't a pain in the elbow. She wasn't a pain in the knee. She was a pain, a very big pain in the B-U-T-T. Here's Lulu. Now, Lulu was an only child, and her mom and her dad gave her everything. And guess what? Lulu wanted everything. Tons of candy, tons of toys, tons of watching tons of cartoons on TV. And if her mom and her dad ever said, and they hardly ever said it, "Sorry, darling, we think you've had enough," Lulu would screech till the light bulbs burst and throw herself down on the floor. And then she would kick her heels and wave her arms, and pretty soon her mom and dad would say, "Well, just this once," and let her have whatever she wanted. She doesn't look really happy there, does she? Chapter 2. 2 weeks before Lulu's birthday, she announced to her mom and her dad that she wanted a Brontosaurus for her birthday present. What did she say? What? A Brontosaurus? Yes, she wanted a Brontosaurus for a pet. At first, Lulu's mom and her dad just thought she was making a little joke. And then they saw, oh horrors, that she was serious. They patiently explain that a brontosaurus is quite enormous dinosaur who lives in the forest, not in people's houses. Is that where a brontosaurus would live, in a forest? I'm afraid that I'm not absolutely sure. But since I'm the person writing this story, I'm putting this brontosaurus in a forest, along with a lot of other wild beasts that I'm absolutely sure did not live on Earth with dinosaurs when dinosaurs were there. Anyway, Lulu's mom and her dad continued explaining to her, although a brontosaurus is into eating plants, not animals, including human animals like Lulu, and although it is cute in a long-necked, pin-headed way, it is much too huge and too wild to be a good pet. A dog, a cat, a goldfish, a bird, a gerbil, a guinea pig? Yes. A brontosaurus? Definitely no. Chapter 3. No? Her mom and her dad were telling Lulu no? Lulu wasn't used to hearing no, and she hated it. She really hated hearing no. To show how much she hated it, she screeched and screeched and screeched till all the light bulbs in the living room burst. I want a brontosaurus for my birthday present, she said in between screeches. I want a brontosaurus for a pet. She's pretty serious, isn't she? There she is, pitching a fit. Wow, let's see what happens. Well, maybe we could get a nice pet rabbit, said her mom. Or even, said her dad, a nice pet rat. No, 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 screeched Lulu. I want a brontosaurus for a pet. Then she threw herself down on the floor and kicked her heels and waved her arms and screeched some more. Uh-oh. She's really upset. Okay, this is the last chapter for today. Chapter 4. 4 days, 8 days, 10 days, 12 days passed. Lulu kept saying, I want a brontosaurus. Her mom and her dad just kept on saying no, and Lulu kept screeching and throwing herself on the floor and kicking her heels and waving her arms. Lulu's mom and dad kept saying no, until finally on the 13th day, the day before Lulu's birthday, right after lunch, Lulu said to her mom and her dad, okay then, foo on you. She had terrible manners. If you aren't going to get me a brontosaurus, I'm going out and getting one for myself. So here's her suitcase. Lulu packed a small suitcase, said goodbye to her mom and her dad, and walked out the door. And they let her go, partly because they thought she'd change her mind and come running back home in about 2 minutes, and partly because it was nice to have her screeching and kicking and waving and being a pain. It was nice not to have her screeching and kicking and waving and being a pain. Let's have a cup of tea and a couple of cookies, Lulu's mom said to her dad. Excellent idea, her dad replied. So they went into the kitchen and started munching on some cookies and sipping tea. And pretty soon, they'd forgotten all about Lulu. Okay, that's the end of chapter 4, guys. So what we're going to do now is go into Canvas, and you'll see a document with a packet for Lulu and the Brontosaurus. And you're going to look on page 3 only. All you have to do is look on page 3. And you can either copy the answers on a piece of paper and take a picture and submit it on Canvas, or you can print out page 3 and submit that on Canvas. Okay, guys, see you tomorrow.